Mainland tech giants are shifting their operational core. Hong Kong is no longer just a financial hub. It's being repurposed as a strategic adaptation ground for firms in AI, semiconductors, and biotech. Paul Chan, the city's finance chief, emphasized this pivot. These companies are leveraging Hong Kong to connect with global capital, talent, and international R&D, effectively transforming into true multinationals. This isn't just about fundraising. It's about building global sales networks and integrating with international supply chains, insulating these mainland giants from shifting regulatory tides at home. But the geography of the tech supply chain is also undergoing a radical restructuring, particularly as U.S. export controls tighten on semiconductor manufacturing equipment. Data shows a massive shift towards Southeast Asia. While China's direct imports of U.S. chip gear fell 34% in 2025, imports from Singapore and Malaysia skyrocketed. This isn't necessarily circumvention. It's a compliance-sensitive reorganization. Southeast Asia is becoming a critical node for equipment servicing, packaging, and testing components that remain U.S.-linked. It complicates the U.S.-China tech battle. Washington's restrictions are essentially forcing the supply chain to become more regionalized, indirect, and dependent on third-party service providers. At the same time, this external pressure is ballooning the revenues of domestic Chinese equipment manufacturers like Nora Technology and Piotech, which saw 13-fold growth in 2025. Beyond hardware, there's an engineering marvel happening beneath the waves. China has activated the world's first commercial underwater data center off Hainan Island. This isn't just a science project. A 1,400-ton module, 35 meters under the sea, uses infinite ocean water to dump heat. It eliminates the massive cooling penalties of terrestrial data centers. While U.S. tech giants grapple with massive water and power consumption, this underwater strategy is a calculated move to secure sovereign infrastructure against both climate limits and kinetic threats. The plan for 100 modules off Hainan is the vanguard. If China dominates the ocean floor for its AI backbone, it will achieve a level of resilience that terrestrial data centers simply cannot match. These massive pivots, from Hong Kong's corporate restructuring to Southeast Asian supply chain shifts and subsea computing, highlight a common thread: total strategic adaptation. Let's take a closer look at that metal watch. China is now tightening its grip on indium, a critical metal for high-speed AI optical chips, adding to the growing list of materials under strict scrutiny. In global markets, the scarcity of these minerals is creating a new bottleneck for hardware manufacturers. China's strategy isn't limited to hardware. It's building bridges into new markets. A new Henkin-based center is actively tapping Brazil to drive tech, healthcare, and e-commerce ties. Recently, a mission of 15 Chinese tech and manufacturing firms visited Brazil, participating in events like Web Summit Rio to solidify investment and digital infrastructure partnerships. These initiatives go beyond simple trade. They involve teaching Chinese regulatory and digital frameworks, helping local Brazilian firms integrate into China's broader tech ecosystem. However, this influence also carries political weight. Beijing uses forums and training programs to socialize foreign elites into their preferred development and governance models. In Central America, this cooperation includes providing police training, surveillance technology, and smart city platforms, which critics argue can be used to reinforce authoritarian control. Take the National Library in San Salvador, for example, a project built by Chinese firms that incorporates advanced facial recognition and digital monitoring systems. Whether it's the urban brain systems in Honduras or emergency response architectures in Nicaragua, the export of Chinese digital infrastructure is expanding the reach of recipient governments. But is this direct repression or simply standard modernization? Some viewers think the focus should stay on the tech itself, as one user pointed out. The West has ideas, but so are the Chinese, who are even better. It's a complex dynamic. One viewer summed up the sentiment nicely. The The West took aim and shot themselves in the balls when it comes to restricting these cross-border tech ties. Ultimately, these moves aren't just about economic gain. They are about setting global standards, technological, regulatory, and institutional, in regions that have historically looked to the West. As China links its domestic giants into international markets, it creates a new type of global footprint, one that is heavily integrated, technically aligned, and deeply interconnected. Whether in the deep ocean, the boardrooms of Hong Kong, or the digital streets of Latin America, China's pivot is absolute and accelerating. We're witnessing the construction of a parallel infrastructure, designed to be independent of the systems that have dominated the last century. The question is no longer just who has the best chip, but who can build the most resilient global network to support it. Ultimately, China's strategy is a high-stakes bet that the current global tech order is already fractured beyond repair, securing its own path forward. The semiconductor supply chain is actively rewriting its own map, with Southeast Asia emerging as the primary hub for this restructuring. Singapore and Malaysia are no longer just factory floors. They are becoming critical, compliance-sensitive gateways. When U.S. export controls tightened in 2025, China's direct imports of American equipment cratered to $2 billion. Simultaneously, Singaporean and Malaysian imports spiked, becoming the essential buffer in China's procurement network. This isn't a simple violation of rules. It is a highly sophisticated, compliance-sensitive transition. Firms in these hubs handle spare parts, servicing, and advanced packaging that keep Chinese fabrication lines running without direct, restricted U.S. components. For the three major U.S. equipment giants, Applied Materials, Lam Research, and KLA, this is a delicate balancing act. They still derive roughly a third of their massive revenues from the Chinese market, funneled through these regional nodes. Singapore is now a core node for Applied Materials and KLA, while Lam Research has rapidly scaled manufacturing in Malaysia. They are effectively servicing demand that U.S. rules would otherwise make impossible to fulfill. This creates a dependent upgrading for Southeast Asia. They gain massive strategic weight and investment, but they become deeply tethered to U.S. regulatory and political pressure, making them the new frontline in the chip war. As one user noted, the shift is undeniable. China has patented EUV via solid-state process. EUV is no issue for China in 2026. While that's debated, the infrastructure shift is certainly real. The strategy is clearly about regionalizing dependence. By embedding themselves into US-allied technological systems in Singapore and Malaysia, China makes it nearly impossible for the US to cut them off entirely without damaging its own allies. Wait, let's hear from the source. The reality of these supply chains is far more granular than just big machines. It's about the chemicals, the testing facilities, and the software developers that hold the ecosystem together, ensuring production continues even under pressure. The Southeast Asian shift doesn't replace ASML or Tokyo Electron. It supports them with mature node capabilities, servicing, and localized assembly that the high-end lithography giants can't touch. This makes the supply chain more indirect. It's no longer a clean line from a Western manufacturer to a Chinese foundry. It's a spiderweb of third-party nodes and service providers. The result is a more resilient, albeit more complicated, Chinese industry that can survive tighter export controls by dispersing its reliance across the region. Are we seeing the end of the globalized chip model? Another viewer commented, "They only need those big-ass machines because they make so many at once. Scale is universal." That observation highlights the pressure. China isn't just trying to catch up. It's trying to build an entire, self-contained ecosystem that can ignore the global choke points it once relied on. As this regionalization continues, the Southeast Asian corridor will become the most monitored and sensitive piece of global real estate in the tech world. The race isn't just about speed anymore. It's about the physical geography of the supply chain itself, dictating the future of global tech dominance. Beyond hardware and trade, we're seeing China aggressively export its governance tools into Latin America, turning the region into a laboratory for digital diplomacy. In Nicaragua, the government is leaning on Chinese expertise to build SINAREM, a national emergency response system that, while branded as safety, relies on centralized surveillance data. Similar dynamics are playing out in Honduras, where national 911 systems are being integrated with Chinese camera technology and facial recognition, effectively hardening the state's monitoring capabilities. This isn't just about selling hardware, it's about shifting political frameworks. These countries are receiving training on Chinese doctrines of public order and judicial control. In 2023 and 2024, top judicial figures from Honduras and El Salvador traveled to China, specifically to engage in forums on judicial digitalization and criminal management. The goal? To replace liberal democratic legal norms with a model focused on centralized rule of law, where digitalization is the backbone of social control. These training sessions facilitate the circulation of ideas that favor one-party development without the need for political liberalization, a compelling alternative for regimes seeking to consolidate power. Critics argue this is authoritarian cooperation. Recipient regimes gain access to the tools they need to suppress dissent, while Beijing gains a loyal strategic foothold in the American isthmus. It's a subtle process of elite socialization. Police, judges, and prosecutors are integrated into CCP-led influence networks, gradually aligning their administrative habits with Beijing's standards. But the real story is the invisible battlefield. As one analyst pointed out, digital surveillance makes resistance harder to organize when the state can identify you days after a protest ends. This model of delayed enforcement is exactly what's being exported. It changes the nature of the protest, forcing activists to operate in an environment where cameras and algorithms never sleep. Even encrypted communications aren't safe in this new framework. Forensic tools from companies like Maya Pico, often included in these tech packages, can extract data even from wiped memory. The tech is designed to be invisible. As one expert noted, the battlefield has not disappeared. It has simply migrated into the digital layers of our daily lives. Some users are naturally skeptical. One commenter noted, "This is so terrifying because it's already beginning to happen in the West, designed to suppress and control us." Others see it differently, with one viewer arguing, "The CCP and Islam are mafia organizations. You must pay a protection tax." It highlights the deep fear that this tech is fundamentally undemocratic. This isn't an overnight takeover. It's a relational process where Chinese technological standards and governance frameworks are slowly woven into the local political fabric. For these countries, the dependency is growing. They rely on Chinese equipment for critical infrastructure, creating a strategic lock-in that will be hard to break in the future. Ultimately, the export of this technology demonstrates how China is successfully diversifying its reach, creating a web of governance that mirrors its own internal system. The battlefield has gone global, and for many in Latin America, the silent digital walls are already rising, marking a permanent shift in regional power dynamics. A massive delegation just touched down in Sao Paulo for BR China Tech 2026, marking a pivotal moment in the alignment between Chinese innovation and the Brazilian market. The delegation, featuring 15 industry leaders, is focused on high-stakes sectors: fintech, advanced manufacturing, and healthcare. Why? Because the Henkin Cooperation Zone is betting big on the Lusophone and Hispanic markets. It's all about regulatory bridge building. By hosting seminars with firms like IESD Group, they are mapping out Brazilian tax, legal, and financial frameworks to ensure a seamless entry for Chinese capital. They aren't just selling products. They are embedding themselves in hubs like Cubo Irao and partnering with logistics giants like Logi, creating an ecosystem that mirrors the Chinese super app, efficiency. The strategic goal is clear: align Brazilian market growth with Chinese tech expansion. It's an aggressive push to make Chinese services the default standard for Latin American digital retail and fintech. Some viewers are skeptical about this rapid expansion. One user commented, Lots of opportunities are there for people who can take risks, reflecting the split between those fearing dependency and those seeing pure economic gain. The sheer scale of this deployment suggests a long-term play. By 2026, the goal is to have the regulatory framework so deeply aligned that Chinese platforms become the primary engine of Brazil's digital economy. The delegation isn't just window shopping. They held briefings at BYD's São Paulo venue, showing exactly how they plan to leverage existing industrial footprints to anchor their software and service expansion. This is smart. They are pairing hardware like electric vehicles with fintech solutions, locking the Brazilian consumer into a holistic, China-integrated ecosystem. Is it a win-win, as they claim, or a strategic lock-in? One viewer had a blunt take. Nowadays, new gadgets and technology are coming out of China. Previously, it used to be from the West, but sadly no more. That sentiment captures the shifting reality in Brazil. As Western firms hesitate due to ROI concerns, Chinese entities are flooding in, willing to underwrite the cost of long-term market dominance. This is what people miss. It's not about the individual app. It's about the financial and legal rails that underpin the entire digital society. By controlling the fintech platforms that process payments in Brazil, they effectively control the data flowing through the nation's entire economic bloodstream. It's the ultimate soft power move, replacing foreign-linked infrastructure with a standardized, China-compliant alternative that works better, faster, and cheaper. Brazil is just the start. If this Henkin model succeeds, expect to see the exact same playbooks rolled out across the rest of South America in the next 18 months. Let's pivot to the deep sea. China has officially powered on the world's first commercial underwater data center off the coast of Hainan, and it is a complete rethink of global computing strategy. We aren't just talking about a test rig. This is a 1,400-ton, heavy-duty module sitting 35 meters below the surface. It uses the cold, constant temperature of the ocean as an infinite heat sink. Why move to the ocean? Because terrestrial data centers are hitting a wall. They are consuming billions of liters of municipal water and vast amounts of electricity just to keep chips from melting. Microsoft's Project Natick was the ghost of this idea, proving hardware could thrive in sealed, nitrogen-filled underwater containers. Now, China is moving to full-scale commercialization. They have a plan for 100 modules at the Hainan site. When you scale like that, the operational economics flip. Cooling costs drop to near zero, freeing up massive power budgets for AI training. But the military implications are even more profound. A terrestrial data center is a sitting duck on a satellite map. An underwater one, it's invisible, hardened against EMPs, and physically distant from kinetic threats. While Western companies are trapped by quarterly earnings and logistical fear of the deep sea, China is treating this as national sovereign infrastructure. Some skeptics argue that sabotage risks are high. You can't just send a tech in with a screwdriver. You need a dedicated fleet of ROVs and autonomous sensor buoys to guard these assets. It's the ultimate sovereignty bet. If you can keep your AI brains at the bottom of the ocean, you can survive disruptions that would cripple any terrestrial rival. The competition for infrastructure is shifting. Space-based data centers exist as a theoretical concept, but the ocean is cheaper, accessible, and provides sub-millisecond latency for real-time users. As one analyst noted, we are looking at the 2030 battlefield. Whoever masters the deep-sea computing backbone will hold the keys to a resilient, nearly untraceable digital infrastructure. And they're doing it while the West is still debating water, reporting mandates, and environmental reviews for land-based racks. This is exactly what makes the Chinese approach so disruptive. They take the friction of the physical world and turn it into a strategic advantage. Whether through the supply chain shifts in Malaysia or these subsea modules, the strategy is consistently about hardened sovereignty. In the end, China isn't just trying to participate in the global cloud. They are building a private, underwater version of it, cementing their role as the world's primary infrastructure architect.